Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jonah
and Bentley Show.
So, this is our second episode of the Jonah and Bentley Show. I think in this one, we're going to talk about relationships and just being in a godly relationship with someone.
Yeah.
So, I haven't been in a relationship in a while. And I think it's all just like knowing that I have something that God wants me to do in my life. And I need somebody that can match what I have to do. And it's like, because I know that I want to do something probably in ministry, probably maybe a pastor, maybe I don't know what it is, but I know I'm gonna be something like that, and I need a woman that has the same calling on her life like me, and that can walk in the same path that I can, so that we can walk together, and that we can strengthen each other. And I was reading Proverbs 31 the other day, and how it's talking about, especially verse 10, which talks about a virtuous woman who can find a virtuous wife, for her worth is far above rubies. And it just had me thinking. I was just like, I can't find a virtuous wife because I'm not virtuous, and a virtuous wife isn't going to settle for anything less than a virtuous man.
Mm-hmm.
So as men, we have to make sure that we're ready for a wife, for a Proverbs 31 wife, because it's not fair to them that they have to be virtuous and we don't have to be. Because I promise you, they're not looking for anything less than a Proverbs 31 man.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was just kind of speaking to me. It was just like, she is waiting, whoever that girl is going to be, she's waiting for me to step into the fullness of a Proverbs 31 man, and step into the fullness of a protector, of a strong man, like in the household, of being ready to raise a family. And I don't think I'm ready to put myself in a relationship until I can say that I have stepped into that. Because I don't think it's fair to me, and I don't think it's fair to her. Because a relationship's not going to last if the two aren't one. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Bible, it even says that like you can't be unequally yoked with non-believers. But I think it's the same thing with believers, especially in relationships. You guys have to be on the same level, the same spectrum. Because if you guys aren't on the same spectrum, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on a lot of what you say, but like I think it's you can give people a chance to grow together while you're young too. Like that, because that can work. Having two people that are young and love God with all of their heart. And I feel like it's doable because, I mean, it's happened in multiple relationships.
Yeah.
And waiting is important. Waiting for God to say, go. Like, I'm not saying don't jump into every relationship you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, pray on it. In any relationship that you get into, I think that giving it a real good thought process about a girl, what do you like about her? What might be something that you don't like about her? Like, everything can tie in to having a godly relationship. Because it's not easy.
No.
Especially at this age, you want to do stuff that you know you can't do.
Yeah.
Even whenever you say you don't want to do it, but whenever it comes, it can happen.
Yeah.
So waiting is important because it can keep you out of a situation that you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think finding a woman, a girl in this sense, because we are not women in a maturity level in our own being and not a spiritual being.
Yeah.
Because there is room to grow with both of you guys, and it can give you a good foundation as a relationship to be young and in love.
Mm-hmm.
So then whenever you are getting older and you're growing together spiritually, mentally, and physically,
yeah,
then it could be what God has intended. But what you're saying is waiting and letting all your love and all your emotion towards this girl build up to where you can give her everything that she desires,
Mm-hmm.
which I respect and I completely agree with you in that. And I think right now I'm in that little area where I'm like, I'm just waiting for whenever God says to move. And I feel like that's more important than just waiting for a specific age.
Yeah.
Like, if you are abiding in God and you are chasing after him and you can hear his voice, whenever he says to go, you're going to know when to go.
Yeah.
In a relationship and anything else that you could do, if God says to go, you need to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard because you never know. There's always doubt. There's always something that's like, if this goes wrong, what am I going to do? And I think that's what holds back a lot of people from not only relationships, but like spreading the gospel or just talking to people at their school about God. They're like, if they don't like act the way that I want them to act once I tell them this, then I don't know what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be discouraging at the same time. Because it's like, I've had that before. Like, I've spread the gospel and then they're like, they don't act how like I want them to act.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't like immediately get like saved. But like you get like expect that, but at the same time, it's like whenever they just like look at you like you're dumb and you're just like, oh, and you get discouraged. But I think just wait, have patience.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to build your foundation before you get into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to juggle two things and God. Learn how to juggle something and God at the same time, but keep God in the center of it. Like, you can have a girlfriend, but if you're not going to spend time with God in the meantime, then it's useless.
Yeah.
Like, if you get so hung up and so distracted by this girl, then she's not meant for you. Which is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It is. But if she's not pushing you to be the man of God that God has called you to be, but instead she's dragging you down and you can feel that, or even if she's just making you feel like you're in a complacent state, like if you're just standing still, it's still not in the relationship that you should be in.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should build each other up. And it's like, it says iron sharpens iron. That's with your brothers like me and you, but it should also be in your relationship with a girl.
Yeah.
You guys should be able to debate and talk about stuff biblically and spiritually and have a good conversation about it and get something out of it for both your points of views.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how me and you do if we do a Bible study.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have different points of views on it, but then they come together and we can both get something that like God is saying to both of us and tie it together and get something powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think in James chapter 1, what we read yesterday, it talked a lot about patience.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the main things, like you were saying, that you need to have if you even want to think about having a relationship is patience. And first, I think you need to be patient with God.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody, like we run into relationships and we run into relationships that God had never intended, but it's because that we had never had a stable relationship with God first.
Yeah.
Because if you're one with God and God's one with you, then you'll know if God wants you in that relationship or not. And I think that's the one problem is that we think, oh, this girl's pretty, she's beautiful, she's a godly woman.
She's
and
everything I ever wanted.
And she checks all the boxes, and this got to be from God. And she may be all of those things, but she might not be from God.
Yeah.
And if you're not listening to what God has to say and you're not abiding in God, then you're not going to know. Then you're going to be steered down the wrong direction. Because, like, I've seen people time and time again, get awesome girls, and on the contrary, girls get awesome guys. And it looks like a really good relationship, and it probably was, but it was never a God relationship.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a God relationship, then it's not a good relationship.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you. It's and then same thing with like what our youth pastor was talking about yesterday, about how God is the true vine. And it's like, that's where a lot of, like, that has to be a mindset where it's like, if I abide in God, then everything else around me, I could stand in a battlefield and stand there with peace, knowing that God is in control. And that's like what we read in James yesterday, where it says, if you doubt, doubting is where you get tossed around in waves. It's like a wave and you have no control over anything. So faith also plays a huge role.
It does.
If not like obviously have faith in God, but have faith in yourself at the same time. Like, you have to believe in yourself that you can do things with God. Because I feel like sometimes, I know I've done this, I know people have, they doubt themselves, and yourself is your biggest enemy. Your own mind is always going to be the one person that will tear you down more than anybody else. Because you overthink, and you think about what could go wrong, you think about what I could have done better, and it's just you tear yourself down because of how you just don't let God just have control. This is like I said yesterday, whenever you start to doubt, it's like you're taking the grasp of your life out of God's hands. And you just loosen his grip.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, you have to get him back. You have to let him have control. It's like at Ramp whenever they said, give the pen back to God and let him write your story. Stop trying to write your own story.
Yeah.
And I think that hit me hard, because it was like, in that moment, I was like, I'm not giving God any control over my life. Like, I'm just doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And it was just like, give him the notebook and the pen and let him start writing.
Yeah. And I think it's I don't know where it is in the Bible, but it talks a lot about singleness. Paul talks a lot about singleness because he was one of like the only people in the Bible that were single, and he dedicated himself singly to the Lord, and obviously Jesus did too. But I think Paul was the perfect example of the gift of singleness, and I think in the season of singleness, I don't think that you should take it bad, because I think God gives us the gift of singleness so that we can grow just us in the Lord. And even Paul says, I don't know where it is, but he says, a married man is anxious to please his wife, and the single man is anxious to please the Lord. And God wants us to get our priorities straight before we even think about getting a relationship, because he's the one relationship that we should even be thinking about. And like I said, Jesus was single, but his bride was the church, and we are the church. So if we can't maintain a relationship with Jesus, like a marital relationship with Jesus, then we shouldn't even think about maintaining a relationship with somebody else.
Yeah. And it's like, in singleness, that is sometimes where trials come, because it's like you can feel lonely and you're like, I don't know, like, I feel like there's nobody here, because you get distracted about not having somebody and you forget who is there.
Yeah.
And it's like in that one verse that Josh always talks about, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not talking about walking into the valley and it's this dark and scary place that you're gonna like end up falling into. It's saying we march into the valley, that we will take down any bit of darkness and evil that stands in our way, because we have God. And I think that's so powerful to just think about, because he was telling us about like what it really meant yesterday at youth, and it was just like, you never think of it that way, because it just sounds so, it makes it sound scary. And it's showing that with God, we will march through the valley of the shadow of death, and we will fear no evil, and whatever stands in our way, we will tear it down.
Yeah. And I think, too, it's just like, we find ourselves wanting a relationship, and relationships are good. I mean, even from the beginning, God intended relationship. Male and female, he created them. And he said, subdue and be fruitful and multiply and take dominion over the earth. And that was the creation mandate. That's what God told Adam and Eve to do. And we as Christians are supposed to follow that mandate too. We're supposed to get a wife. For girls, we're supposed to get a husband, and we're supposed to walk together as one. And I think that's one of the things that like a soul longs for, is for somebody else that can walk with us. And yeah, I mean, that's supposed to be Jesus. But at the same time, God did intend for us to walk with another person. We are the bride of Christ. I mean, we are supposed to be one with God. I mean, Jesus is waiting at the altar for you, because once we get into a relationship with him, we're married and we're one with God. And he tells us things and we're supposed to tell him things back. And a part of a relationship, this is what I help lead a Bible study at school every Wednesday. One of the things I was saying, like I went around and reviewed the room for people that like have a boyfriend or had a girlfriend, and I asked them, I said, would your relationship work if you did not talk? Like from now until forever, if you guys didn't talk again, would your relationship work? And everybody said no. And it's just like, then why do we do the same thing for God? I mean, why do we not talk to him? Why do we not read his word and then expect to have a healthy relationship with him? It's just like, it's not going to happen, because we need to first, like, God and Jesus, it's like, it's our foundation of how a relationship should work with a woman. Our relationship with Jesus is the first relationship. It's the Bible says the first love. Jesus is our first love. Jesus and our relationship with him should be a blueprint of how we treat other people. And especially in relationships, how we treat a wife or how a girl would treat a husband. It mimics how we had a relationship with Jesus. So if you don't have a good relationship with God, and if you don't pray, if you don't read, and if you don't like spend time with him, what do you expect to do with a woman? Like, what do you expect to do with a woman of God that wants and desires a godly husband? I mean, if we can't even spend time with Jesus, how do we expect to spend time with somebody else?
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of where strength comes from is being able to be meek, to be able to just fall under somebody else. And I feel like a lot of men, like older men, struggle with that. Like, not only, like, with God, they usually are good with it. Like, people that are older than us and our pastors and our dads, that they are men that are meek under God. And for us to stay under God and keep ourselves under God is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
Let God be above you. He is who you follow, and God is our protector. He is who we follow, and he is who we love.
Mm-hmm.
And we are supposed to be that for our significant other too. We are supposed to protect and love and let them walk with us, not follow, but walk with us. That's the main difference, is we follow God, but don't let somebody else follow you. Don't lead somebody on. Mm-hmm. Because whenever we don't talk to God, whenever we don't read our Bibles, it's pretty much like we are leading God on, or we are in a toxic relationship with them. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're in a relationship and they're not talking to you, or they give you like a little good night, I love you, like every night, only one text a night, and it's like they act like they hate you everywhere else, it's a toxic relationship. Yeah. It's never going to work.
Yeah. And I think once you get into a relationship, because relationships aren't bad. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not what you're saying either. It's just that we have to have a relationship with God first, because God is supposed to lead and direct the relationship. But I think once we get into a relationship, we have to start doing the things that we did with God together. Like, we have to start praying together. I think we should start reading together. And I think we should start doing all these things together, because that grows our relationship, and that grows our relationship with God. Yeah. Because once a male and a female, once they come together, they're one. And that means that they're one with God. So it's us, and then it's God. And we have to come together, and we have to pray, and we have to read. And I think we have to do all these things that we did in singleness, but I think now we have to do it together, because a relationship, it's not going to work if you're not going to be spiritual with them, because that's the number one thing, is you have to have a spiritual partner. A spiritual partner, then you have to have a partner, like, But I think the spiritual aspect of it is the most important, because if you can't grow, or if you can't maintain a spiritual house, a spiritual family together, then it shouldn't have worked in the beginning.
And for you to be one with God, your partner has to be one with God. And that's the only way that you two can become one and be one with God.
Mm-hmm.
If one of you is falling short, pick the other one up. You guys have to, like, a relationship is, you have to build each other up. First, you have to have your foundation with God in your own life. Then you have to build the foundation in your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your foundation will always and forever be God.
Yeah.
In anything that you do. Because if he's not in the center of it, if he's not where you're, like, what you're standing on, then it's never going to stay up.
Yeah. Just like the Bible story, Jesus talks about the house, and the houses that were, one of them was built on sand, and when the wind came and the rain, and it all came, and it beat on the house fell because it didn't have a firm foundation. But the house that was set on stone, the wind blew and the rain came, and it beat on that house, but the house stood. And that's how a relationship is supposed to be. You guys are supposed to have a house that's firmly founded, that no matter what comes, the trials and tribulations, that you guys are one, and that the house will not fall because God is the foundation. Because when something else is the foundation, like the sand, it's destined to fail. And I think that's the problem, is that the beginning of it, we don't focus on God, because God is supposed to be the very beginning. He's supposed to be the foundation. And that's why the house stood still, is because they were firmly founded in God. And that's how a relationship has to be.
Yeah. And, like, at the same time, love is where everything starts.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said earlier, that Jesus was our first love. And he's always there with open arms. And that's how you should be with your significant other too. Is if they're having a bad day, or something goes wrong, and they just need somebody to be there for them, you should be there with your love with open arms. You should love them unconditionally and forever show that in every up and down, every bad and good day. That's what we should be to those people.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can't let them just fall and then be like, they just need space. Sometimes people do need space, but at the same time, they also need love.
Yeah.
And that's where patience comes in too.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be patient with your partner.
Yeah.
You have to be able to let them be themselves for a couple of days, or however long they need to find themselves again. Which can be hard, because sometimes you're having a good day and they're not having a good day, and you just want to be with them, and they're like, I can't, like, I just need to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you have to learn how to although you guys are together, you're also separate people.
Yeah. And
you have to learn how to be patient and to love even without being together and talking all the time.
Yeah. And like I said, at the center of it all, it's got to be God. And if you're one with God and God tells you to do it, then you should do it. I mean, because God's He's not gonna lie to you. He's not gonna, and even if it doesn't work out, maybe it was to build you. Maybe it was to build your faith and to know what not to do and what to do in the next relationship that you get into. Because not all relationships are gonna be the one that happens. Like, well, not all of them are gonna end the same way, but the ones that don't end the right way, like the ones that don't end in a marriage, it's just like, you have to take it, you have to reflect, you have to learn from that. And that's the one thing, is just like, people get into relationships like, oh, he broke up with me, or she broke my heart, and this and that and the other. But like, you have to look at the good things about it, because like, obviously it doesn't look good in the moment, but you learn things from it, and you learn what to do next time, what to do better next time, what can build the relationship up. Because it's not always going to end in a ring. Sometimes it's going to end in a learning experience.
Yeah. And I just feel like our main point is that have God in the center of not only everything you do, and not only just relationships, but have God in the center of everything. In your relationships, don't just jump into one to another to another to another, because all it's gonna do is tear you down, and it sometimes just gives you a bad reputation too.
Yeah.
Because people just see you as this person that just dates and dates and dates. So be patient and just wait for God to say to go. And like we've said multiple times, we're not saying relationships are bad, but there are ways that God has said and will tell you if you ask, and if you are one with Him, He will tell you that it is time to go. He will tell you to pursue, and you just got to be ready for it.
And I think what makes relationships so hard, especially now, like in today's age, is the fact that in the Bible times there weren't such thing as dating.
Yeah.
You were courted. Your parents chose who you'd marry, and you were married. I mean, like, they exchanged some goats and some sheep, and then you were off to wherever the heck you went.
Yeah.
And I think the Bible does talk about relationships, but like it doesn't talk about it like we do now.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that makes it so hard, especially for Christians, especially for our generation, like Gen Z. It's hard because the Bible doesn't have, like, it just wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't date, you were just married.
Yeah. And I feel like once you get into a relationship, that's why it says date to marry. And that's just like where your mindset has to be from the beginning. Don't get into a relationship that you don't see a future in.
Yeah.
Never get into a relationship that where if you sit there and think about it, you don't see anything happening. Because if you don't see a future, then God doesn't see a future in it. And it's just, you have to be able to sit in your own thoughts and sit and listen to what God has to say about anything.
Yeah.
You have to be able to let God talk to.
Yeah.
You can't just overwhelm God with all these problems and all these things that you want, and I want this and I want this, and Lord, give me this and then I'll do this. Like, it has to be just like any other relationship.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just sit there and tell your girlfriend all of these problems, and then the moment that they tell you anything, you're like, yeah, I don't care. And I feel like that's what we do sometimes with God, is we tell him all these problems, and he's like, okay, now here's an opportunity that you can do to overcome this problem. And we're like, no, I just want it. And it's like, that's where you have to learn to obey God whenever, say you are struggling with, let's say you're being impatient. God's going to give you the opportunity to be patient before he just gives you patience. Because if you're going to obey and take charge whenever he gives you that opportunity to be patient in something, and you do it, then he'll be like, okay, this person truly wants what he asked for.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything else to say. Do you have anything else to say?
Me neither. I just think the point is, be careful with who you choose.
Because if God doesn't help, then it's not God ordained. And like, I think this is one of the points that we just kept hitting over and over again, is keep God at the center. It's a recipe for success.
And it's like, I know we just said we didn't have anything to say, but since you just said that, it sparked something. It's like, I saw this video one time, and it was like, sometimes our life is a closet, or not a closet, a drawer. And like where you have your socks and everything, and it's like the levels to it. And say you just got saved. God's at the top shelf at all times. You're like, yes, I'm on fire and I'm on fire and I'm going to do all these things. And all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, God slowly starts to get towards the bottom drawer. And then you get a new salvation, a new wind. All of a sudden, he's back at the top. But then all he's going to do is just keep falling down because you have God first. God doesn't want to be first. He wants to be everything. He should be your number one priority, but at the same time, he has to be a part of everything.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be your first priority, he has to be in everything you do. You have to take him everywhere. You have to believe and talk to him everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And it was like, God doesn't want to be in the first top drawer. He wants to be the whole drawer. In everything that you do.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I think didn't we tell a story last time?
Oh, dude, I forgot that we had to do this. Our funny story at the end of every episode. What
What
was the last one we told?
we were talking about how we had our names?
Oh, yeah, the Florida. Yeah.
What should we talk about this time?
I don't know.
Should we talk about Joel?
Joel?
I think that would be funny. And whenever I was talking to people about Bible verses.
Yeah.
So, this is youth camp in the summer, and me and Bentley are sitting next to each other, and we're just talking, and I was like, bro, why don't I just ask people what their favorite Bible verse is? And I was like, if you tell me your favorite Bible verse, I'll give you a fist bump. And so I was telling
high five.
Eric,
You already ruined it.
it's the same thing. So I was walking around, and people would walk by, and I'd say, yo, give me your favorite Bible verse, I'll give you a high five. And this one person walked by, and I was like, yo, give me your favorite Bible verse, and I'll give you a high five. And there's this kid, and we became pretty decent friends with him. He came from a different church, and he looks at the guy, and he goes, don't do it. He's going to kiss you. And I was like, no, I promise I'm not going to do that. And I tell you what, the dude that I was talking to ran away.
Yeah, he literally was like, he just like gave Jonah a dirty look and just like walked away. And I mean, and then the kid just like kept coming back to us ever since that moment. And he like lit up my day every time
was so
he even,
funny.
like would walk in. But yeah, it was a funny day.
Oh, it was a funny day.
He was just like, he was like, what's your favorite Bible verse? If you give me your favorite Bible verse, I'll give you a high five. I don't even know like what happened. Wasn't there something happened that like something about somebody kissing somebody and then that made him say that?
I don't know. I just think he was just being random.
I don't even know.
Because that dude was off the wall. I mean, he was funny. It was just like, some of the stuff that he said was just like diabolical. Oh,
But,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys for watching, and tune in for the next episode of the Jonah
And Bentley Show.
Adios.
Amigos.